everybody, and welcome to C&H Collectibles. And
What's new background?
new background, chibis. Look at the chibis. And I'm not talking about that chibi. I'm talking about this one.
I will cane you.
But guys, we have a great episode for you guys today, don't we, Hampton?
Oh yeah, this is going to be one of those episodes where it's the Hampton takeover, and Chris is going to stare at me and realize I know too much about something again.
Yep, just like the Star Wars episode, which was a great episode.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited to sit here and just gaze at you like this. I'll make the googly eyes at you even though you can't see them.
Honey, if you're watching this, he might be trying to steal me from you. But
Maybe.
we digress, friends. This is the Transformers episode. So, we're here to talk to you about the history of Transformers, some of the cool action figures and collectibles that have come out over the years, as well as what we have. And then, of course, I'm actually going to talk about something that's happened recently.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, legal disputes regarding a particular Transformer and all of the legal issues around the actual IP it came from over the past 30 years.
Well,
So, yeah.
sounds like we have a great show for these guys today.
And then, of course, as always, the top 10.
Oh, yeah, we always got to do our top 10. That's what we're known for, is the top 10.
No, it's not. It's known about you going over budget.
We won't talk about that.
All right, guys. So, first and foremost, I'm going to give you guys a quick, brief history of the series. So, of course, we have Generation 1, when it started out in 1983. Now, this was the original series, first 2 seasons. Autobots and Decepticons crash land on Earth, and then the Decepticons wake up. They're like, oh, we're alive? Oh, they're going to be alive too. Let's shoot up their computer and fly off. Their computer doesn't care. Fixes the Autobots, and then the war continues. So this is where everyone started getting to know the Transformers. Moving on, 1985, the Transformers movie. Now,
This is what you went and watched when we went to the 90s and we accidentally got stuck in the 80s.
yes.
That makes sense because you disappeared for a couple hours and I was like, where's Hampton?
Yeah, and I kept taking the time machine back to watch it in theaters over and over again.
That's why it's out of fuel. I was trying to go back to like the 70s the other day.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, there goes that out the window. We can't use that anymore because he kept using it to go watch Transformers.
And that was the best 120 days of my life. I digress, though. Of course, the movie had some amazing voice talent. At the time, some of them were little known. Others had only been in like a few specific series, such as Leonard Nimoy. We also know him as Spock. May he continue to live long and prosper in the great unknown. Of course, we had him. We had Joe Machida as the voice of Blur.
Yeah.
We've got Judd Nelson for Hot Rod / Rodimus Prime. And, of course, all the returning voice actors from the original series voicing their own characters. Whether they lived or not throughout the entire series is... And then, of course, you had the amazing soundtrack brought to you by the one and only Stan Bush.
Okay.
He did the full theme to the song.
Yeah.
He did literally all the songs for it. Dare to be Stupid,
Yeah.
The Touch, all of it.
Okay. Wow.
Like, amazing.
Wow.
And it was one of those that it really helped to bring Transformers into the limelight.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this was also one of the first PG-rated films, animated films, in the U.S. It was rated PG-13 for one word: shit. Because at the time, the FCC was completely against foul language. Well, they had finally just updated the rules for PG and PG-13 to allow the use of words like damn and shit.
Really?
Yes. So the original VHS release was censored so that Spike doesn't say it.
Okay.
Whenever Unicrons get raided, Moonbase 1,
Yeah.
he's just like, oh man, what are we going to do? The actual version is, oh shit, man, what are we going to do? And it was just one of those that everyone exploded because they didn't know what to expect it.
Right.
But yeah, one of the very first PG-13 animated movies in U.S. theaters. And just one curse word made it go crazy.
That's You got to think though, that's in a whole different time, back in the 1980s,
Yep.
and that's back before like animated films even thought about putting any kind of curse words in. So that's actually like a risky little thing for them to do.
So the thing is, Japan was actually ahead of its time in
Yeah.
that it was already doing that with anime and animated movies.
Yeah.
The animated features that they did, like Akira and stuff, didn't start until like closer to the end of the 80s, but you started seeing more emotion and more real world situations
Right.
developing in anime and people using vernacular that was just bigger.
Right. Hey Panda, how you doing, man?
How are you doing, my dude?
Hope you like Transformers, Panda, because that's what we're talking about today.
Joe Pesci as Megatron. Okay, but if it's a Transformers abridged, I'd be down for it.
I'm done with Joe Pesci and Megatron.
Of course,
I'm
you
all
would be.
for it.
So,
I
of
think it'd be
course,
hilarious.
after the movie continues, we all know Optimus Prime dies, passes on the leadership, passes on the matrix of leadership. Words are hard. To Hot Rod, who becomes the next leader.
Yeah.
And he goes from being like a short little punk to about 10 feet taller than he was,
Right.
bigger, smarter, and wiser.
Right. Okay.
So, of course, the movie ends, and then it moves forward on to season 3 of Generation 1.
Yeah.
Seasons 3 and 4 is where things started getting crazy, because that's when we have the aggression virus, that's when we have Unicron trying to come back from the dead, Starscream is a ghost, transforming city, a giant transforming dinosaur that's also a city, but a ship.
I forgot that Starscream became a ghost. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, no, because Starscream totally gets blasted by Galvatron. And you know what? It was a great moment.
Ghost robot.
Yeah, we'll get back to Starscream in a bit because, guys, Armada. And then, season 4, we had the aggression virus.
Right.
Everyone in the galaxy started going crazy trying to kill each other. So
That sounds like the Day's Age.
yeah. Well, the only people that are able to survive it and go on is Optimus Prime,
Right.
who just got brought back from the dead
Right.
a second time.
He's a zombie.
Well, no, he was a zombie the first time.
Oh,
He
wow.
got legit brought back from the dead the second time by one of the Quintessons.
He's a phoenix.
No, he got repaired by a five-faced tentacle man.
He's a robot phoenix.
Sure. When the third season hit, and that's when we got the Transmetal 2 forms, we got so much craziness going on.
Yeah.
They found the Ark.
Yeah.
They found Optimus Prime.
Right.
Megatron tried to kill Optimus Prime.
Right.
Optimus Prime was like, I'll carry the matrix of leadership for a bit until Optimus Prime can be repaired.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, we all die.
Yeah. When he became a robot phoenix.
Yeah. Sir.
Robot phoenix.
So, of course, Beast Wars was amazing, and that led into, of course, Beast Machines.
Right.
Unfortunately, Beast Machines was not a good follow-up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, fully CGI, but they just really digressed from what the idea that Beast Wars had.
Well, if
And-
it tells you anything, more people talk about Beast Wars than Beast Machines.
Yeah.
So-
Well, the thing is, Beast Machines only ended up having 2 seasons, and each season was about 12 episodes.
Really?
Yep, it just could not ride on the success of Beast Wars, and it was because different animation style,
Yeah.
different writers for the
Right.
story as a whole.
Right.
So it was just super weird. There were these sparkless Transformers on Cybertron
Yeah.
that were just mindless automatons, and the Autobots are nowhere, the Decepticons are nowhere.
Yeah.
It's just the Maximals and the Predacons.
Right.
Predacons are the ones that are making it worse, and the Maximals, well, there's like 10 of them to save an entire planet.
Right.
And it fell flat. So very flat. Like that fat kid that jumps off the diving board at the public pool and just,
What are you talking about me for? Ouch.
look, I have to talk about some of the embarrassing things you did in the 80s.
We went back. I couldn't help it.
So, of course, after that, we didn't have anything for about 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
out of Transformers. And then, lo and behold, we get Robots in Disguise. Now,
Transformers, robots in disguise.
this was one of the first reboots to the original series. It used more or less the same animation style as Generation 1 and 2.
Yeah.
They wanted to take it back to more of their traditional roots, and it really helped out to bring what people loved about it. But Optimus Prime was a fire truck. It was really weird.
I remember that because they make a couple of toys about him as a fire
Yeah.
truck.
And
I kind of want them. Got a ball?
no. That thing is worth way more than your budget for the next 10 years. Because I know you'll want to get it sealed.
Yeah. Because I always want them sealed. If they're not sealed, I don't want it.
I also want to point out, Robots in Disguise had one of the weirdest episodes ever because it had, I think it was called, the episode was called The Experiment.
Yeah.
And something happened, some alien race was trying to experiment with the Decepticons. Made them peaceful. They were doing construction work, like proper construction work, fixing roads, planting plants, playing with children, directing traffic. And then whenever the dude just runs a red light, one of the jets transforms, takes off after him, starts shooting in front of him, and then transforms and lands in front of him. And he's like, hey, obey the traffic laws. You can get someone killed. And the guy's like, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then he flies off.
What in the world?
They were trying to do a lot of different things with that series, but it was also really good. Yeah, there was an Autobot that was sexually attracted to any and all sports cars. Yeah.
Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did. Robots in Disguise was a really weird series. Let's just go ahead and put it that way.
Yeah.
So, of course, after Robots in Disguise, we have Armada.
Right.
Now, Armada holds a special place in my heart.
I think it holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts.
Right. So, of course, we see, like a reinvention of the series as a whole.
Right.
And it was an actual successful reboot. It
Right.
had like 3 seasons. You had the little tiny Transformers. I can't remember what they're called for the life of me.
I know what you're talking about, though.
But they could transform into weapons. They would connect to the Transformers to power them up. And
Sometimes they were transformed into
stuff.
like little tapes and stuff too for some reason.
You're thinking Soundwave and Blaster and
probably
their
am,
specific
yeah.
ones. But that was Generation 1.
That's fair.
But this was the series that saw the second change of heart
Yeah.
in a Transformer.
Yeah.
So, of course, in Beast Wars, we had Dinobot.
Right.
One of the best redemption stories in Transformers ever.
Dinobots are great.
Dinobot is amazing.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm tired of being a Decepticon. I'm tired of people dying. And then he sacrifices himself to save the early primates of humans.
Yeah.
If he hadn't saved us, we'd all be dead.
Right. Hey Ace, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it back in here for today.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, the second and equally as heartrending, change of heart
Yeah.
in Armada was Starscream.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that was Dinobot's original thing, was he wanted more power. But eventually he finally realized that he wanted to have more than power. He wanted to be someone who could protect. And that's why he fought to the death.
Was tired of killing people pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Well, Starscream more or less has the same change of heart.
Yeah.
So the kids in Armada actually save Starscream. And he starts questioning himself, his allegiance, everything.
Right.
And he finally says, screw you, Megatron. And he sides with the Autobots. He's flying with them back to Cybertron.
Yeah.
And in order to save the kids on one of the many planets they stop on to get Energon, he stays behind to fight Megatron 1v1.
Yeah.
He gets kicked all over the place and he dies.
Yeah.
But that was one of those things that it was one of the best moments for Starscream as a character, because it showed that as twisted as Starscream was, which he's always been twisted, he was able to make a comeback and be more than just the sniveling, conniving subordinate.
Right. You actually say human side of a robot.
Yeah. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we fast forward throughout the years, and we've had Transformers Energon. We've got Robots in Disguise 2, Electric Boogaloo,
Yep.
kid-friendly edition.
Yep.
This one is aimed more at, like, little kids. And then, of course, with Netflix, we now have the Transformers series that they've been doing.
Yeah, I want to
There's
watch that.
Titans Return, the Titan Masters, War for Cybertron,
Yeah.
all of them. Amazing.
I really want to watch War for Cybertron.
Do it. It's good.
I bet it's really good.
Oh, it's amazing. So, of course, I've been talking about history so much, and I've eaten up quite a bit of time. We're going to move on real quick, guys. We do
ready
have
to get
some
into our
awesome...
first collectible?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, of course, we can't help but talk about Best Boy, Bumblebee.
Oh yeah.
Now, of course, this one doesn't have his head out. I blame Hasbro for packing him weird. But Bumblebee,
they packed them in the car form, which is really weird.
oh, they packed him halfway in car.
Yeah, he's kind of like doing that. He kind of looks like an eagle trying to take off a fly.
So, interesting thing about Bumblebee is that for the longest time, Hasbro went and they didn't get the rights to have him as the VW Bug in
Yeah.
the original series. But back then, that wasn't as big of a thing.
Right.
Well, whenever the Michael Bay films came out, they tried to get the license for it. They couldn't.
Really.
Volkswagen would not allow them. They wanted something like 10 or 15 million
Yeah.
just to use Bumblebee on that. And they were like, no, we're not going to pay that.
That's so
And
stupid.
then Chevy was like, hey, we'll donate 3 of our newest model Camaro if
Yeah.
you'll use it. We'll have 2 for stunt and 1 that's actually drivable.
That's
so
fair.
they were like, use these.
Yeah.
And that's how Bumblebee became the Chevy Camaro.
I think a lot of people know him as the Chevy Camaro more than the Volkswagen, to be honest.
Which
with
is
you.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But
Especially
Bumblebee,
if you're a younger generation.
right.
So.
Bumblebee was, of course, just the most reliable guy, always go to. His best friend was a human,
Right.
and they just went on. Now, fun little fact that most people don't realize, Spike in the original series, his
Yeah.
last name is Witwicky. So, yeah,
Really?
it actually does tie in with the Michael Bay films
Yeah.
with Sam Witwicky.
Yeah.
It's the same family, just different names. And obviously, Sam and his dad aren't mechanics.
Okay. Okay.
But that's how they tied it into the original and to help, keep people interested.
Right.
Now, of course, this little man, I believe these are still getting produced and sold at some places, but he's getting harder and harder to find. And he's just a simple little 10-step thing.
Yeah. It's
But this is good for, like, kids that are getting into them.
well,
now-
I like how on the box they actually give you the 10-step thing
Yeah.
because it actually shows you how to transform him back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Now, me, growing up, I never used the instructions.
Right.
Because for me, they were puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, my parents got me my first Transformer at a yard sale, of all places.
Really.
It was Optimus.
Okay.
My second Transformer was Bumblebee,
Okay.
which the irony, they couldn't produce the old action figure of Bumblebee
Yeah.
as a Volkswagen Bug either.
Man.
Legal disputes.
Man.
Hasbro's had tons of them.
I can tell.
So, of course, moving on. I want to move through these a little quick because got other things to talk about.
Right. What do you got for us next, Anthony?
So, Transformers Generations. We have the Autobot Scoop with a couple little buddies here. They also transform. They do things. Now, the great thing about this series is that it included comic books,
Yeah.
typically about the specific Transformer that was in the package. So, of course, there was all kinds of these. You could get some for like Waspinator, Chromia, which was one of the female Autobots. And then,
I've never seen a Waspinator figure, so that's actually pretty cool.
yeah. So, of course, yeah, see, like these little guys right here. These
Yeah.
are exactly what was in Armada. I don't
Right.
remember. Okay, Target Master was like their actual thing back in like the 80s.
Yeah.
So, like, really cool. And, like, this was 30th anniversary. This was 2014. And
So this is even kind of old now.
mm-hmm. This boy is 7 now.
7 years old. Yeah.
God, we are already almost to the 40th anniversary of Transformers.
Yeah. We're getting there.
We're
I
getting
wonder
old.
what they'll do for the 40th. They got to do something special, right?
So the thing is, every 10 years, whenever they do the next big anniversary, they always come out with another remaster
Yeah.
of the original movie.
Yeah.
I think last time it was Blu-ray and DVD in the same package.
They'll probably do like 4K this time.
Probably.
That would make sense.
So, of course, because I know you would get sad not talking about Funkos, we have the Transformers versus G.I. Joe's Funko Lunchbox. Now, this actually has some stuff in it. I don't know what all's in it. This thing is sealed. I believe it's like a shirt and a couple of Funkos.
Does it not say on it?
It does not.
That's so weird.
I know.
You think Funko would have like included that somewhere?
You would think.
I love the GI Joe side of it because I just think like GI Joe stuff's cool.
So, the funny thing is that there was actually a crossover, a set of crossover episodes for G.I. Joe, the cartoon back in the day, where the Transformers were there.
Really?
Yep.
So did they ever like transform into any of the GI Joe vehicles?
The G.I. Joe vehicles themselves never transform, but Mark, my dude.
You got the lunch.
So, of course, like, they were there. Of course, the Decepticons were helping Cobra.
Right.
Autobots were helping the Joes.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Right.
Well, the thing is, outside of that, there was a long-running comic series. I think it was like 30 or 40 issues of this, where it was the Transformers and the G.I. Joes.
Just helping each other out.
Helping each other out. At first, you know, G.I. Joe was trying to kill every single Transformer they found because their first experience was with, of course, Decepticons.
Yeah. I do like that lunchbox a lot.
Oh, yeah.
If I was a little kid, I would take that with me to school.
I mean, as a grown man, I would take that with me.
That you got me on that because I probably would still take that with me as a grown man.
So I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one. This
Okay.
is a convention exclusive.
Which I wish we could open.
I really do. But
we
unfortunately,
can't.
this is actually sealed. This is through one of our Evo merchants.
Yep.
This is the Titans Masters Titans Return RC. Now, these were convention exclusive. I have no way to show you guys what's in it. So look it up online. It's Titan Masters RC. ARCEE. Now, RC was.
I wish it was an RC car.
Now, of course, RC was really important in the original series, in that from season 3 onward, she was kind of like the big sister figure for Daniel, Spike's son.
Yeah.
Spike becomes less important of a character in seasons 3 and 4.
Right.
And it focuses more on Daniel himself. Now, in season 4, Daniel gets hurt real bad.
Yeah.
Like, super messed up. He's unconscious. And they're like, he may not live. We have the technology to save him, but we only have one way to do it. How's that? We have to merge him with a robot. And RC's like, I volunteer as tribute. I'll have the boy in my head. So
that's kind of creepy.
the sexual innuendo in that is amazingly hilarious and kind of creepy because Daniel wakes up and he's like, oh, where am I? You're inside me, Daniel. So this is what it feels like to be inside you. So I'm going to bring on probably our coolest piece to talk about this evening. And you guys are going to have to forgive me. He's in a bit of plastic wrapping.
But that's for his own good.
Yep. This is the Masterpiece Sunstorm. Now, the Masterpiece series was like the highest level of articulation and stuff for like convention exclusives, alternate paint jobs, all that.
Yeah.
So, like, this is one of those that's really an amazing thing to have. Now, when I say they go all out on these, I mean it. His fingers have joints. You can completely pose his hands.
Oh, it looks like Mark gifted a sub.
Oh,
The Germs.
congratulations for getting that, Germs. But yeah, you can see right here. This was a Toys R Us exclusive.
Yeah.
Now, I know you
That
guys
just makes
can't
this
see
even
the
mo-
sticker
Makes
that well.
it even more rare that
But
it's a
yeah.
Toys R Us exclusive.
Yeah, and
Because Toys R Us exclusive anything is hard to get now.
yeah, well, it was hard to get even when Toys R Us was still around.
Yeah. Definitely hard now.
Oh yeah, but yeah, like this boy, he comes with his own stand to use whenever you have him in jet mode.
So how tall is he when he's actually transformed?
When he's in robot form,
Yeah. How tall would you say?
he's almost as big as the box. Like
Dude, that is sick.
yeah, no, like the Masterpiece series was one of those things that they went all out with for looks,
Right.
and it was just amazing to see them.
So how many Transformers got this?
I want to say there was only about 20 that got the Masterpiece series.
I'm assuming
And
your popular ones like Optimus Prime, Bumblebee got
So-
theirs.
Of course, Optimus got one, Bumblebee, Megatron, Starscream. Like, those big four in
Right.
particular got some. I think Soundwave had one,
Oh, that's cool.
but that was about it
Yeah.
as far as, like, the big name ones. This was for alternate paint schemes.
Okay.
Now, of course, if you know classic Transformers, you know that Thundercracker, Starscream, and literally all the other Jet Decepticons had roughly the same look in their robot form.
Yeah.
Skywarp was one of them.
Yeah.
Like, Starscream, Skywarp, Thundercracker looked exactly the same regardless of form.
Right.
And then there was Dirge and I think his name was Sky Blaster.
Yeah.
One was like blue and brown, the
Yeah.
other one was white and black.
I know which one
They
you're
look
talking about.
exactly alike.
Yeah. They're like twins or something,
Yeah.
right? But they're just different colors.
Yeah. But I mean that about does it for, alternate paint schemes for the same ones in a series.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's an awesome looking figure, though, honestly.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you're a collector, we have this on the website.
Yes.
Come get it. The box is a little rough, but this is one of those that you don't keep it in the box.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like that one, I know I'm a big box collector, but I would still save the box, but I would take it out and display it on a shelf somewhere.
Oh yeah.
That's definitely one that you want to display on a shelf and take pictures of.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well, go ahead and bring us back to our big cam,
All
because
right.
that's got us done with our collectibles. Now, we're going to go ahead
and remember, guys, anything that you've seen today is on the website.
Oh yeah.
So you can buy it from us.
We have all of it here at trollandtoad.com. Come check it out. We've got more than just that. We had this t-shirt. This was a Luke Carey exclusive. I say we had
He
because
bought it.
I have it.
He bought it. Do we have any more of the giveaway that if somebody wanted to buy it, they could?
We do not. This
So
was
this
our
is a-
only one.
So that's a one and only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So guys, if you win that, that's the one and only that we had on site.
Yep.
So make sure you are king that spam word to win this, and you take home not one, not two, but 3 Transformers figures.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's been many legal disputes surrounding Hasbro and Transformers over the past 30, almost 40 years now.
Yeah.
So, the very first legal dispute for them arises because of their partnership with Takara Tomy.
Right.
Now, at the time, Takara Tomy also had a business relationship with, let me get out my notes here, guys. There's a
Handy
lot.
dandy notebook.
So, Harmony Gold had its license of Robotech, which was the co-copyright owner for the U.S. images of Mecha from the component series of the show, Super Dimension Fortress, Macross, Super Dimension Cavalry, Southern Cross, and lots of long words.
Big words that hurt my head.
Now, if any of you guys are, Mecha fans, then you know about Battletech
Yeah.
and you know about Robotech.
Yeah.
So, Jetfire, the original Jetfire,
Yeah.
was his original action figure was based on the Valkyrie from the Macross series. Harmony Gold and Hasbro both had a partnership with Takara Tomy to produce their toys.
Right.
Now, of course, back in the 80s, Ronald Reagan got into it with the FCC to, essentially, there's a word for this, deregulate the content of the TV industry. Now, what this boils down to is that it meant that toys could be made for cartoons and the FCC not bring up a big old stink about it. That was one of the best things for Hasbro because they used that, they used the series Transformers to promote their toys. Takara Tomy was the Japanese company that came up with the original designs,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Without Takara Tomy, we wouldn't have Transformers, and Hasbro probably wouldn't be the name it is today.
Right. I know a lot of people hate Hasbro, but that's for a different time.
Yeah. So, of course, there's been legal battles over the image of the Valkyrie for, 35, 36 years.
Yeah.
The legal battles finally ended this past April.
Really?
Yep. So, I'm jumping ahead in my notes here. I spent a lot of time talking history, and I shouldn't have. So,
You got excited.
I did. I can't help it, though. So on April 8th of 2021, Harmony Gold and Big West announced that the two companies have reached an agreement which was signed on March 1st of 2021 regarding Macross and Robotech franchises, officially allowing international distribution of the Macross franchise while also recognizing Harmony Gold's license with Tatsunoko on using characters and mecha from the Macross in Robotech globally, except Japan, and affirming that Big West will not take any opposition on Harmony Gold's upcoming live adaptation of Robotech. I'm super stoked about that because I grew up on that.
Yeah.
So, like Transformers, Robotech, that's why I'm into mecha.
Right.
And so there's more than one reason why this relates to Hasbro.
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con 2013, Transformers versus the G.I. Joe. The box set that you could get from Hasbro at the time had 2 action figures in it. A Transformers Jeep, or not Transformers, a G.I. Joe Jeep with one of the 4 1/4 inch figures.
Yeah. That can just sit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Transformer.
What was the Transformer?
Jetfire.
Really?
The original sculpt of him from way back when.
Okay.
Well, literally, the moment someone saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, it was like, oh my God, they brought it back.
Yeah.
Within minutes of it going online, Japan knew about it.
Yeah.
Pretty much immediately. So within days of San Diego Comic-Con ending, lawsuit against Hasbro.
Yep.
So the judge over that trial just slapped it down immediately. And they were able to continue selling that convention exclusive set for about 6 months after.
It sounds like the judge was just like, he looked at it and probably thought it was stupid and just like, yeah, I'm not worried about this.
Well, because this had been a legal dispute that had been going on for, over 20 years at that point.
Right.
And just, that's one of the many, many legal disputes that Hasbro's had. There's a reason why Megatron is no longer a gun whenever you find a toy of him.
Right.
Kid tragically lost his life thinking that his father's Walter PPK
could transform.
Was a Transformer. So he picks it up, playing with it, and
well, lo and
gun
behold,
safety.
Guns
Everyone.
go off.
Yeah, gun safety. If you have one in your home, please teach your kids about gun safety.
Yes. Don't have them going and picking them up, especially lock them up.
Oh, yeah.
Especially lock them up from the little ones.
Oh, yeah. And if any of you have seen the original Megatron, when he's transformed and he's in his gun mode, if he doesn't have the stock barrel extension or scope put on, it looks like a real gun.
Yeah.
You can't tell a difference unless you know what to look for.
I've seen the original scope of it, and I was like, yeah, that actually looks like an actual gun.
Yeah. So that covers that. Let's get into the best part of the show, the top 10.
So do you want to go ahead and roll our giveaway for that?
Let's do it.
Let's roll that giveaway.
Harley Q.
Harley Q, 1986.
Congratulations.
You got 3 Transformers.
Good job.
Morning meets the, wait, what? All right, Hampton. So you ready to get into one of our favorite subjects that we always do on every single show that we do?
The top 10.
The top 10. The C&H top 10.
Oh, yeah. So,
let me get my notes.
You have to have notes.
Look, it took me a little while to think of it because I had to really think this through. I had to think this through.
What we're going to do is, rather than the traditional top 10, because there's been so many different series and reboots for Transformers, we are just going to point out the specific ones and what series they came from.
Yeah.
And then, go over that, why, and then we'll rank them from 1 to 10.
All right. So I'm going to do my number 5.
Okay.
And it's one you hate because I told you about it on the floor. Number 5 is Hound.
Okay. Now, Hound, I don't hate. I hate the specific one you're going with. So.
Well, I mean, I like movie Hound and other Hound too.
Yeah, he's talking about the Michael Bay Hound.
He cracked me up in the movie, okay? That's the only redeeming thing for that movie was Hound for me.
I mean, okay, he's using a bullet as a cigar.
Exactly.
I will say
that's
that
funny.
he was amazing comic relief in the movie. But you compare it to the original series, no. Completely different character.
That's fair. But he cracked me up in the movie, and that was the only redeeming part of that movie for me.
That's fair. So, of course, my number 5 is not from the Michael Bay verse. From Beast Wars, Rat Trap.
Okay.
Now, the main reason I liked Rat Trap was he was really good at sneaking around.
Yeah.
He could pick locks.
Yeah.
But the thing I enjoyed most about him was he was a pessimist.
Yeah.
His most said line throughout the entire series is, "We're all gonna die." Regardless of the situation, no matter how bad it looked or how good it looked, it was always, "We're gonna die." In that exact tone and pacing.
Both of our number 5s are comic relief, it seems like.
Yeah.
I like it. That means we're kind of on a wavelength here.
Okay. So what's your number 4?
Number 4, Bone Crusher.
Okay.
I liked what he could transform into. That had the big claw thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That's fair. For my number 4, back from the original series, Skylynx.
Okay.
So for me, I wanted to be an astronaut growing up.
Yeah.
What kid doesn't? Well, Skylynx was amazing because... you be quiet over there, sir. Not you, the audience. You, the Palmer, who's currently the live audience.
I was like, that's the live audience.
So, of course, the big thing with Skylynx was he was a space shuttle with, like, landing gear on the bottom. But the landing gear could detach and become its own critter, and the space shuttle became a dragon. But they could combine to make a dragon with legs.
Yeah, didn't the critter just like crawl off sometimes and do its own little thing?
Oh, yeah, no. It would run off and do anything that it could to mess with the Decepticons.
Yeah.
So,
You also know we're the only show that has a live audience. Okay. Am I going to my number 3?
yep.
All right. We scrapping for time or something? So, my number 3, Scourge. I guess that's how you pronounce his name. Scourge.
Scourge.
But he was cooler than me. He was a boat. He could just become a speedboat and just take off.
That's fair.
And I like that. I have a love for Transformers that transform into weird things. I don't know why.
That's fair.
But when I seen him originally, I don't remember what cartoon he's from, but I know I've seen him on the original cartoon.
Right.
He transforms into a speedboat and then he just takes off.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of cool. So he's a boat.
He thinks that's the weirdest thing out there. I want to point out there's one Transformer. It's actually 3 dudes that form a camera.
Yes, I know about that one. But at the time, I guess I was just like,
2 of them become the body of the camera itself. The other one becomes the
like
extendable
the
lens.
extension.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I just had a thing for it because I thought it looked really cool when it transformed into a boat and took off. So I was like, that just looks so awesome to me. And then ever since, I've just been a fan of Scourge because of that.
Okay, that's fair.
So, can't really give reasons why I like the Transformers I like. It's just I think they transform into cool stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
And that's why I watched Transformers when I was a kid, for the cool robots.
Well, speaking of cool robots, I guess I have to go ahead and go with my number 3.
Yep.
Soundwave.
Okay. I respect it.
Original Soundwave, because he was a stereo.
Yeah.
His chest would open up and cassette tapes would fly out, and then they would transform. Ravage, Frenzy, Rumble, Ratbat, Laserbeak, and I can never remember the other bird. But he had like 6.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Stormcrow.
Yeah. That's fair. I know a lot of people who are a big fan of Soundwave.
And it's just, he was good for pretty much every situation. And obviously, the Autobots and the humans that were friends with him were just completely stupid and never noticed him. Seriously. Spike picks up a stereo. He's like, oh, awesome. Just walks in to the Ark Autobot base, sets it down. He's like, oh, Optimus, I have to ask you a question. Runs off screen. Soundwave transforms, hacks their computer. Disguises, people. They
Robots
work.
in disguise.
So, you're number 2.
My number 2, and you'll like my number 2.
Okay.
Ironhide. Ironhide is my number 2 because
Original Ironhide?
original, but I like remake 2 because he's a pickup truck.
He had a lot of the same personality.
Yeah. But he also goes out like a badass. Let's admit it. He goes out like a badass in the original series. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he goes out clawing at Megatron's leg, trying to take him out. Like, he's trying to stop Megatron, and Megatron just looks at him, pathetic. Boop.
Yep.
Not with quite that sound effect, but.
But you gotta think Ironhide literally went out like a badass.
Well, that's the moment when, in the original movie, it made you realize that this isn't the kids' show.
Yeah.
People you like are going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a rhino in Beast Wars. That's probably another reason I like him. Because rhinos are one of my favorite animals.
No, in Beast Wars, that was Rhinox, not Ironhide.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm a walking Transformers encyclopedia.
He goes, no, wait, I think I'm wrong.
Yeah, the elephant was Ironhide. That was from, like, one of the Combiner kits. They tried to do Combiner kits for Beast Wars, just as, like, the action figures, but it was... No, it didn't do well. If they had introduced it in the series, it would have done better.
Yeah.
So, my number 2, which kind of relates to Chris's number 2. Megatron. The original.
So you like the boy that kills my boy?
For reasons that you wouldn't think. So, for me, Megatron actually kind of defined what it meant to be evil when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I learned more about how to be a good person by looking at Megatron. Not by looking at Optimus and him always being self-sacrificing. I looked at Megatron and realized, okay, that's actually a really bad thing.
That's fair. It's 100% fair.
So, I'm more the man I am today because of the villain.
That's fair. The villain taught you to be a good man.
Oh, yeah. So, you're number 1.
Number 1. Look at the figure. Look at the chibi. What am I holding?
Me, Grimlock. Me, King.
Exactly. Grimlock is my number 1.
Yep.
Because
I don't really
dinosaur.
blame you.
Dinosaur.
Hey, big old fire-breathing T-Rex.
Big T-Rex. Me love big T-Rex.
So, funny thing, with the Dinobots, they have had 3 or 4 different origin stories.
Yeah.
So, in the original series, they had 2 in the same series. So did the Constructicons.
Right.
And for the Dinobots, there was one originally that is kind of like Beast Wars. Fossils got scanned, and then they were made.
Right.
But then there's another one where it's like the Autobots were like, hey, we need some just good old-fashioned firepower. What about, these creatures? Well, they're dead. Why don't we make Transformers that look like them? Brilliant.
Okay. I respect it.
But in the comics, there was a different origin for them.
Yeah.
And then in the War for Cybertron games, there was a different origin.
Yeah.
And in both of those particular origins, they were actually intelligent before they became the Dinobots.
And before they started talking like me Grimlock, me King.
Yep.
All right. What's your number 1?
So, when I was a kid, I aspired to be a grumpy old man because of this Transformer.
Okay.
His name is Cup.
Okay.
Now, old beat-up looking pickup truck. He had a story for everything that could relate to every situation. So they get to Unicron, and Hot Rod just looks at me. He's like, well, Cup, you got a story for this? No, kid. I don't think I do.
The one time he didn't have a story.
Yep.
That's how you knew stuff was going down.
Oh, yeah. And so I love that robot.
Yeah. Okay. I respect it. Now let's listen to a top 10.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and say number 10 because of what it is. I'm going to say Hound.
Okay.
Because I kind of think you would put Hound there, wouldn't you?
If it was the original Hound, I would still probably put him there.
Yeah.
Because the original Hound didn't have a whole lot of personality.
Right.
He was just the stereotypical cartoon army guy.
Yeah.
That was Hound.
That was just there the 5.
Yeah.
That was it. So Hound at number 10.
Yep.
What about number 9?
So for number 9, I'm gonna have to go and say Scourge.
Scourge.
And it's mostly because
That's fair.
I can't even place him. It's like he had to have been really forgettable. And that makes me feel really bad.
I mean, he was a speedboat, so what do you expect?
That's fair.
I'll agree with that, though. We'll put Scourge at number 9. Number 8.
So for number 8, for me, it's going to have to be Rat Trap. Like,
Okay.
I love my boy Rat Trap, but
With everything else on the list, it's kind of...
there are too many heavy hitters that are much larger than he is.
Right.
I want to point out, the Maximals in Beast Wars were as tall as humans,
Yeah.
with the exception of, like, a few specific ones.
Right.
Whereas the rest of the Transformers were, 10, 20, 30, 60 feet tall.
Fair.
Or about 200 feet tall in the case of the Titans.
Yeah. So, number 7, I'm going to say Bone Crusher.
Okay.
Just because of everybody else on the list, I feel like it needs to be placed higher for their role and what they did.
Again,
Bone Crusher,
lightweight in a ring full of heavyweights.
Yeah, like I said, I like Transformers that can transform that transform from weird stuff or transform into weird stuff.
Right.
So that's just my thing about it.
That's fair.
So, let's see, number 6.
So, I hate to do my boy Soundwave like this, but I'm going to put Soundwave at number 6. And it's mostly because by himself, he does nothing to stand out.
Okay.
Like, he is completely and absolutely loyal to Megatron, to the point that he even works with the Autobots at one point to save Megatron.
Yeah.
Like, he understands that alliances with people that he should not ally with are sometimes necessary to remain loyal.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
But you look at everything else on the list,
Yeah.
and he doesn't cut.
He doesn't stand down with our top 5 at least.
Yeah.
So who would you put at number 5?
I completely forgot who my number 4 was. Oh, Skylinks. There.
Skylinks?
Skylinks was one of those that in the old series, he was big. He was important.
Yeah.
He helped to save Autobots many times. He was super important during the Rage Virus episodes because he helped, Bumblebee and Spike and Daniel and all of them to escape.
Yeah.
And then, he got infected.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, I'm dropping you guys with payload. You all get out of here.
That's fair. Number 4. And I hate to do this to my boy, but I'm going to put Ironhide at number 4.
That's fair.
Just because, yeah, he goes out as a badass, but he still goes out.
Right. So now, if I'm going to try and make this as unbiased as possible, I'm going to have to put Cub at number 3.
Okay.
And it's solely because, as a character, I don't think he stands up against Megatron as a character. Against Grimlock, I could see Cub taking number 2 or number 3, either one.
Right.
Because it's kind of a toss-up right there.
Right.
There's not really one that fits one spot or the other because both are super important to the series as a whole.
And super popular characters, too.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to put one or the other there.
Yeah, so we can both agree that, 2 and 3 are kind of tied between Cub and Grimlock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Which leaves number 1 at
Megatron.
Exactly.
Which, again, one of the greatest animated villains.
If not one of the best villains of all time.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And I'd say the only one that really outshines him, I was going to say Galvatron, but the more I think about it, it's like, no, Megatron was a lot more twisted and more prepared to do whatever he needed to.
If he needed to do it, he'd kill anything or anybody to do what he needed to do.
Galvatron was just trigger happy and definitely more conniving than Megatron.
Yeah.
But Megatron is still the better villain.
Yep. I agree. And it's hard not to put Megatron at number 1 just because of, like you said, how great of a villain he actually is.
Yep.
So I guess, guys, that's our top 10. So there you go.
And that does it for the show, guys.
That does it.
So-
So guys, we do have D&D coming up next. So this man says that he's got something juicy planned out for the next show.
Oh,
so
it's
make
gonna be
sure
fun.
that you guys stick around for that.
Yep.
And we have a couple of great giveaways for that too.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you guys stick around for the giveaways. But guys, it's been fun. I'm gonna go do the quick shows for the upcoming week, and then we're gonna get out of here and get ready for D&D. So Monday we have the wrestling show at 5:30.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Nothing on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we have Drew's Polka Shop. I believe he's going to try to maybe do Snap again next week. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not really sure whatever he comes up with. He just comes up with it.
That's fair.
And then after that, we have Magic with Kelly and Logan, which is always really fun because they teach me a lot. Then on Thursday, we are continuing our Halo tournament, which you and I both advanced in
Amazing.
for Troll versus Toad.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, meet the collectible boys on Troll versus Toad on Thursday.
We all know who is going to win.
Yep,
Here.
it's me. Then after that, we have TNT Tactics with this man right here and Jason Palmer, which is also in our D&D campaign. And then right after that, we have Happy Little Orcs. So you want to give them a little preview on what you're going to do for next week, or have you thought of it?
Dragons.
There you go, dragons. And then on Friday, we have Magic with either Logan or Jeremy, whichever one that's here and more convenient for it at the time. But we always have a Magic show with one of those two. And then after that, at 6 p.m., we have, and I'm not screaming it because I don't want to throw my voice out,
Thank God.
we have the Yu-Gi-Oh! Super Show.
With JT.
With JT. And now that's for the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, Hampton, I believe it's time to
Transform and roll out.
took the words right out of my mouth. Guys, take it easy. And remember, Saturdays are for the toys. We'll see you later, and we'll be back with D&D here in a few minutes.